Let's unite our energies to form a chain of love that extends beyond physical borders, radiating positivity and compassion.
This youth and truth, how it came about and why, is in the last 37 years, wherever I go, this has been a constant refrain that thousands of people keep telling me the same thing. Sadhguru, when I was 20, where were you? You came when I'm 60, and what is the use now? You should have come when I was 20, I would have lived a completely different life. This has been a constant refrain by thousands of people. So I thought I will step out and meet all those people who are below 25 years of age in this country and also in the rest of the world, so that they don't complain later on. What we call as life is just a certain combination of time and energy. Certain amount of life energy, certain amount of time. Most people do not pay attention to this. In Tamil language, are they Tamil people? Only two, huh? Okay. Oh. In Tamil language, for death, the word for death is kalamaittanga. That means their time got over. It's a perfect description. Just time gets over. As we sit here, our time is running out, isn't it? Hello? Is it not running out? It is ticking away. It doesn't matter how young, how old, what you're doing, what you're not doing, whether you're awake or you're asleep. For all of us, time is running out all the time. You can't roll it back, you can't stop it, it's just going away. So the only other ingredient that we have, which we could manage and make something else out of, is the energy, the life energy. Most youth do not understand this when they're young, that the segment of life that we call as youth is the time of your life when your energies are at your peak. Whole lot of people think that's how it's going to be all life. It's not going to be like that. You just have to pay attention to older people, how much trouble they're having with their energies to keep it up. So, this is just one segment of life when your energies are at their best. If only you had little more clarity about life and little more balance about yourself, you could play these energies differently because this level of peak energy will not happen again. This is just this segment of life which is referred to as youth, that energies are as exuberant as they are right now. So bringing clarity and balance means, essentially, if you have more clarity and balance, the time is running away for all of us. But if we manage our energies well, what somebody does in 100 years, another person does in 10 years. That means if you live to be 100, other people think you lived for 1,000 years because of the impact of your life. And above all, every human being has a certain genius about themselves. I feel, tell me if my percentage is wrong, I feel in my perception, I feel not even 1% of humanity manages to unfold their genius. They'll never find the necessary ambience around them or within them so that they can unfold their genius. Their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own nonsense just holds them down. Only 1% or less is unfolding their genius. A society or a nation or even the entire world, as a generation of people, we either rise or we live a mediocre life depending upon how many human beings unfolded their genius. How many geniuses blossomed in a given society will determine how far that society, that nation will go. So, we thought by bringing little more clarity and balance to the youth, in this generation we would like to increase the percentage from less than 1%, if you can make it 10%, phenomenal things will happen. If 10% of the population manage to unfold their genius in the world, what will happen will be too incredible to describe. Right now, a minuscule is doing this, rest of the humanity is largely a drag. For everything they will say, not possible, not possible, not possible. You have to drag them every day. Shall we change this? Hello? This is your life, this is your time on the planet. Yes? As a generation of people, this is our time on the planet. I want to make sure our time on the planet is the best time ever till now. Are you with me? Yes. Oh. I want to see some more life with a yes? Yes. Okay, please.
With your permission, Sadhguru, we'll begin with our question-answer session. My first question is, how do we become more inclusive of diversity in the society? For instance, the northeast of India, if you see, it's completely ignored. It's a fragment, it's been pushed out of this country. I mean, a lot of people, they don't even know what the 7 states of Northeast are, or how the people are, or what their identity is. So how can we, as the youth, or all of us, change this? How do we become more inclusive? Because if you see, ignorance eventually leads to intolerance and communal problems and violence. So how do we become more inclusive of diversity today?
Can I tell you a joke? Are you okay? Can I? Some of you because some of you are looking so serious, I'm seeking permission. Joshua Goldberg was a Vietnam veteran in America, in New York City. One day, he ordered for pizza and a Chinese boy came to deliver the pizza. He took the pizza, paid him the money and punched him in the face. So the boy fell down backwards. Then he got up with a bloody nose and he said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "That's for Vietnam." He said, "I am not Vietnamese, I'm Chinese." So Joshua Goldberg said, "Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, they're all same to me." So the boy gathered himself and went. Later on, after having eaten his pizza, he was taking his bull mastiff for a walk. There's a law in New York City, if your dog poops, you have to pick it up. So his dog pooped on the street, he bent down to pick it up, the Chinese boy came from behind and kicked him in his backside. So he went down, face down on the dog poop. Then he got up and asked, "You idiot, why did you do this to me?" The boy said, "That's for Titanic." Said, "You idiot, what do I have to do with Titanic?" Goldberg, Spielberg, iceberg, they're all same to me. So, every difference that we have, you and me look different, we are not able to enjoy the difference. We make every difference into a discriminatory process. Unfortunately, this has become the way of the world. Race, religion, nationality, ethnicity, you name it. If there's nothing else, we'll find something which doesn't exist. Goldsmith, blacksmith, all kinds of distinctions, endless. What is the solution? See, when we sit here, this is my body, that's your body. No way to mix these two things up. That is yours, this is mine. That's one kind, this is another kind. This is my mind, that's your mind. No way to mix it up. This is one kind, that's another kind. If you're identified only with your body, you will naturally always look at me as something different. If you're identified with your thought process, you'll always see me as something very different. But There is no such thing as my life and your life. This life is same. This body can never be the same. This mind will never be the same. But this is a living cosmos. I captured this much life, you captured that much life, that's all. It's like, did you girls blow soap bubbles when you were younger or you still do? You still blowing bubbles? Now, if you blew your bubble came this big, my bubble came this big. Oh, big bubble, small bubble, but poop, it went. Now we are not saying this is my air, this is your air, isn't it? Yes or no? Fundamental life process, the identity with fundamental life process has not happened. We've gotten identified with the surface. The moment you identified with your body, you're a female, I'm a male. Gender is acting like two separate species in the world right now. Yes? Gender, badly people need each other, in spite of that they're acting like they're separate species. Every small thing that is said, boom, it blows up because we are too much identified either with our body or with our thought process, our beliefs, ideologies. What we need is a deeper identity. Can I take a couple of minutes? In yoga, we look at human mind as 16 parts. We can make this into 4 categories. These 4 dimensions of mind are referred to as buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means the intellect. Your intellect, do you want it sharp or dull? You must choose right now, I'm going to bless you. Sharp. So it's a cutting instrument. It's like a knife. Knife should be used for certain things only. If you use knife to do everything, then none of you girls are like this, I'm just looking for one of you. If you suppose use a knife to stitch a cloth, it'll be in tatters. Sometimes I'm wondering these days, your denims, maybe you're using a knife to stitch. And not you, you're good. So you cannot use a knife for everything, only for dissection you can use a knife. You cannot use a knife for everything. Right now, our education systems have become such, they're purely intellectual. The other dimensions of human intelligence are not even explored. Everything is intellectual. So all we are doing is dissect things, dissect things, dissect things. With this we will know certain things. Suppose I really want to know you, shall I dissect you? If I dissect you, I will know the condition of your heart, liver, kidney, spleen, everything, but you will be gone. Maybe by embracing you, I may know you, but by dissecting you, I will not know you, isn't it? This is what we are doing with intellect, we are constantly trying to dissect everything because our entire education system is focused just on the intellect. The next dimension is called ahankara. People generally think ahankara means ego. No, ahankara means identity. Depending upon what you're identified with, accordingly your intellect will function that way. Today tell yourself, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. You will see your intellect functions just for that. You tell yourself, I'm Indian, it will work just for that. Yes or no? You just see the moment you're identified with something, what you're identified with always looks right, something else always looks wrong, isn't it? So this is the nature of the intellect. What is the identity? Accordingly it functions. So in this culture, we had a system, before we start education for a child, first thing is, he must say, aham brahmasmi. This means, my identity is with the universe. You must establish a larger identity before you empower somebody with education, because education is empowerment. If you empower somebody with narrow identity, they will do something else. See, right now what is science and technology doing? The cutting-edge science is all going to military use, isn't it? The most horrible things that have been done on the planet have been empowered by science and technology, unfortunately. The greatest gifts that we have turned against us simply because of our small identity. I am India or I am Pakistan, I am this or that, endlessly it is going on. It is just a narrow identity which makes a human being absolutely dangerous. You can call it crime, you can call it evil, you can call it genocide. Essentially, it's limited identity, isn't it? So one fundamental thing that we need to do in our education systems is that everybody has a limitless identity. Identify at least with the world, if not with the universe. If you cannot conceptualize a universe, at least your identity is global. Now the next dimension of the mind is called as manas. If you want to continue that knife ideology or analogy, knife is there, ahankara is the hand that holds it. It is the hand that holds the knife which determines whether this knife is going to save a life or take a life, isn't it so? It is not the knife which is dangerous. Every day knife is saving more lives than taking lives, isn't it so? Knives are saving lives, but in the wrong hand, it will take a life. So the hand has to be tempered, the hand has to be studied. Nothing wrong with the knife, the sharper it is, the better it is. Knife should be sharp or no? Knife should be as sharp as possible. It is the hand that holds it which makes the difference. Now this hand is connected to what is called as manas, which is a silo of memory. See, right now, you call this my body, but this is just a silo of memory. There is evolutionary memory, there is genetic memory, there is karmic memory, there's articulate and inarticulate levels of memory, conscious and unconscious levels of memory. Like this, there are many dimensions of memory. Do you remember how your great-grandmother 10 generations ago looked like? No, but her nose is sitting on your face right now. Satakshi, I got the name right for you? Yes. See? Her nose is sitting on your face or no? Definitely. Your skin remembers the skin tone of your forefathers 1,000,000 years ago, yes or no? So this is memory. What you call as my body is 1,000,000,000,000 times more memory than what you ever can carry in your mind. So this memory is important, and how it transmits itself into the intellect depends on the identity. How you identified, accordingly this memory will play. If you identified with a limited identity, then this memory will become against everybody else. If your identity is a larger identity, then this memory functions for everybody's well-being. So the fundamental thing is, your identification has to evolve. How does your identity evolve? The fourth dimension of intelligence is referred to as chitta. Chitta means an intelligence without an iota of memory. When we say memory, memory is a certain boundary. See, I remember these three are my friends, they're in my boundary. These people I don't remember, they're out of my boundary, isn't it so? Hello? Who is my friend, who is not my friend, who I love, who I hate, is just a question of memory, isn't it? Who is my brother, who is my sister, who is my father, who is my mother, is it just a question of memory? Memory in your mind and your genetic memory, isn't it so? It's all this memory functioning. So there is an intelligence which is beyond memory, which doesn't have an iota of memory. Where there is no memory, there is no boundary, it's a boundless intelligence. This is a living cosmos which is intelligent. It is a living intelligence of its own. Now, this dimension of intelligence also exists within us. The moment you touch this dimension of intelligence, all your limited identities will collapse. And in the yogic culture, in a very mischievous way, it is said, you must understand this in the right context, because you're looking serious, it scares me, huh? Hello? Do something to show me you're not so serious people. Because, see, suppose somebody comes and tells you, my grandmother is serious, how do you understand? She's on the way out. That's what it means if you're serious. So in the yogic culture it is said, if you touch your chitta, if you touch an intelligence beyond memory, they say, God will become your slave. Whatever you wish, it just happens for you, because you're not stuck in the framework of memory anymore, your intelligence. So, if we want an unprejudiced world, genuinely unprejudiced world, because today people who call themselves, people who seem to be fighting all the time for somebody, they are highly prejudiced too, in a different way, in a reverse way. This is not going to help. Pushing one injustice against another injustice is not an answer. It is not an answer for the well-being of this world. It is important that your experience of life is beyond the limitations of the boundaries of your memory, which means your body, your mind, your intellect. Beyond that, you have an experience. If your experience of life transcends the limitations of your physical nature, then we use this most corrupted word rather, a highly corrupted word called spirituality. This is what spirituality means. Spirituality doesn't mean looking up, looking down, going to heaven, no. Spiritual process means your experience of life has crossed the limitations of your physical nature. It's only because of physical body there is a clear-cut boundary between you and me, isn't it? Yes or no? Suppose you didn't have a body and I didn't have a body, we would be all over the place, isn't it? Yes or no? So, because of our identifications with physical forms, I am different, you are different. Now this difference slowly matures into discrimination. Sorry, did it answer your question?
Sadhguru, how do you suggest that we appropriately question authority without being disrespectful towards them? Because from our very childhood, we've been taught to obey our elders because they know better and they are right. But they're only humans and it's possible that they are wrong or they make an error in judgment. So, do you think… So, I'm not talking just in context of parents. It could be political leaders, scientists, experts.
Me also.
Spiritual leaders as well. How do we question them to look beyond their traditional paradigm?
Just the way you're doing it right now.
Without being disrespectful. I understand, but it is possible that they take it as challenging their authority.
So, see, respect, you use the word respect. Respect is not something that you ever demand in your life. Please don't ever do such a vulgarity that you demand respect. You can only earn it. You cannot demand it. The moment you demand it, it becomes vulgar. Yes or no? So you stand one step higher than somebody and you demand respect. Or the only stupid thing that you did is you came here a few years earlier than someone else and you demand that I'm senior. It must be happening in the college also. 1 year senior I am, you better respect me. Just 1 year ahead I joined the college and now I'm senior, okay? So, this is an unfortunate reality that's well established in the world, that in the name of religion, in the name of authority, in the name of parenthood, in many different ways, we have been trying to establish authority is the truth. No, authority is not the truth. Truth is the only authority. This is why, youth and truth. Truth is the only authority. Nothing else is the authority. So if I ask a question, somebody freaks. See, if you ask a question, somebody freaks because they don't know the answer. Suppose you go, sit in an examination and look at the question paper, you don't know a damn thing, don't you freak? Just like that they're freaking, why don't you understand? Hello? So they gave you a question paper, you have no clue, do you freak or no? So they are also freaking. So you must understand and be a little compassionate. When you ask a question, somebody freaks means obviously they don't have an answer. So you must be compassionate, considerate because they're your seniors. They came ahead of you, but they are no better than you, so they're freaking a bit. Please make way for them a little bit, what to do? They've grown little bigger than you. But at the same time, there is no need for anybody to succumb to that. It's all right, there is no need to confront people. A question, first of all. See, a question is a tool. A question is a tool to dig little deeper, isn't it? Hello? But somebody is asking a question to prove a point, that's not good. So don't ask a question to your parents or to somebody else just to prove your point. No, ask a question because it's a genuine question. So people were asking me, Sadhguru, what kind of questions can we ask, what can we not ask? I said, even the dumbest question you have, if it means something to you, it means something to me. If it doesn't mean anything to you, don't ask such stupid things because it doesn't mean a damn thing to me either. But if it means something to you, maybe it's a stupid question, somebody thinks it's a stupid question, but it means something to your life, it means a lot to me. So, please make sure your questions are genuine, whether you ask a parent or a political leader or a spiritual leader, it doesn't matter who the hell you ask a question. When you ask a question, you must understand the purpose of asking a question is to expand yourself from what you know to enter a territory where you do not know something. That's the idea of asking a question. But you ask a question to prove them stupid, then maybe they're getting mad. You are entering their territory now. But you have to make sure in your life, because your life is not just about your life. How you conduct your life will determine the nature of this world, isn't it so? When you have such a responsibility, you have to ensure that truth is the only authority. Authority is not the truth. It doesn't matter whether it's parents or teachers or spiritual teachers, political leaders, or God himself came down and he said something stupid. You must be able to question him. That is the nature of this culture. See, even when those entities which we considered divine came, in India all we did is ask questions, endless questions. When Shiva came, his wife Parvati freaks him with 1,000,000 questions. When Krishna came, Arjuna asked 1,000 questions, questions and questions and questions. I must tell you this. We were trekking in Tibet, a group of people, almost from 42 different countries. So an Indian man who settled in United States wanted to ask a question. I said, you can ask questions. Immediately he raised his hand and he stood up. He asked a question which lasted over 8 minutes and it was going on. I said, see, this is too long a question. Then I told the others, because they were all looking like this, because they're from different nations, they can't understand this question. I said, see, this is a very Indian question. Question inside a question, inside a question, inside a question, inside a question. Indians are experts in this because they have 15,000 years of culture, they've crafted questions like this. It doesn't matter Shiva comes, Krishna comes, they want to bowl a googly to him. That's the whole intent. So I said, this is an Indian question, and I tried to explain to them what is an Indian mind and why it asks such questions. So much of culture. Then one Chinese lady says, Sadhguru, I was working at the United Nations, even there only Indians ask questions. We never ask questions, only the Indians were asking questions all the time. I said, that is India. Please.
Sadhguru, my next question for you is, why can't one husband be with multiple women and one woman or a wife can be with multiple husbands in today's society among consenting adults? And what impact do these people have when they're involved in such relationships?
Well, there are many aspects. So historically, you know, there has been a Draupadi who had 5 husbands, all right? This has been a matriarchal society where in many parts of the country, even today in some parts of the country, it's still practiced that 5 brothers are married to 1 woman. These things were done at a certain time when the social situations were such. Or men were married to more than 1 woman. This was mainly because men died more often than women. Today, both men and women are outside, both may get killed, that's different. But at that time, largely women stayed home because she was continuously pregnant. From the age of 14 to 45, 50, she's almost all the time either she's pregnant or she has a young child. This is how life used to be. So because of that, she stayed home and she took care of the property and the agriculture and stuff. Man went out to do business or for war or something else, he went out. So men always died more often. So generally, in most societies in the past, the number of men was much less than the number of women, always. This has been the state all across the world. So naturally, when so many women were there, they needed care and they needed support in the society, and those days a woman could not exist by herself. Unless she's protected by a male partner, it would be very difficult for her to exist by herself because she would be exploited in so many different ways. So always they attached themselves. So naturally a man ended up having 2, 3 women because the population ratio was like that. But now largely it's leveled out. If some individual does it, it's not an issue, but if that becomes a social norm, then how do you decide somebody has whatever, multiple wives, and how do you decide somebody has no wife? This will become a social, collision, it'll become lot of problems in the society because we may act civilized. I'm very particular, I'm very clear about saying we act civilized, but when we are denied basic things that we need, all our civilization evaporates and we will behave like animals. Yes or no? So, when fundamentals are denied, people will go flashing. So that's not going to work in today's world. And above all, the women's condition will become very bad. Those days there was no dearth. If you had land, it was okay. You had 5 wives, it doesn't matter. You had 25 acres, it was good enough, everybody ate well and that's about it. But today our requirements are not just about eating, it's about many things. So that kind of thing will lead to lot of complicated situations in the society. It's better to stick one-on-one and anyway, forever people have been doing their own things beyond the legal relationships. Things have been happening in the societies. That involves a certain risk. Somebody who's willing to take that risk, that's for them. But others will live within the legal format. It's a balanced society. If you're asking this question in a more existential way, you must take enormous care about the water because it's 72% and it has tremendous memory. Immediately when it comes in the tap, if you take it and immediately drink it, it will work as poison in your system. The air gets affected just by the sounds and the intentions and the emotion. Get some sun on your body every day because sunlight is still pure.
Sadhguru. So I have listened to you saying that 70% of our body is water, and if we drink the energized water, it really we can have grip on the body and mind. Is it true with the air and food that we take? Because in the city we have to live with the polluted air in the air-conditioned rooms in our company. So could you please explain the Bhuta Shuddhi process in your laboratory?
If you tell your company, I'm willing to work without the air conditioner, they would be too glad. It would save them a lot of money, isn't it? And it would be good for you in so many ways. But now, the city is not in that kind of condition where if you open your window, breeze will not come, smoke will come, smell will come, dust will come. So, it's good, convenient. But you don't have to sit here 24 hours. only for work, you can. Take a walk whenever you can. And anyway, 72% is water, 12% is earth, only 6% is air. In that 6% air is not always in the breath. Out of the 6% air that is here, it is only less than 1% which you're breathing. Rest is simply there. For some people, it's concentrated in the brain. But otherwise, in every cell in the body, there is air. So when you say air, it's not just the breath. 6% air is in every cell in the body. Just remove it a little bit from the brain, it'll be good. It's good if it's in the lungs, in the heart and the muscles. They function better if there is oxygen, you know? Do you know this? If you're oxygen deprived, muscles become rigid because this needs air, otherwise it'll not work. So, water is 72%. So maximum care should be taken about the water because it's 72%. If you are going to an examination, suppose it is like this, let's say you're going for physics examination. You have water, earth, this, that, but just the water subject is for 72 marks. Naturally you spend more time reading about water, isn't it? Studying water, yes or no? Air is only 6%, you may not study because you are okay with 94. Water you must study because it's 72%. You must take enormous care about the water because it's 72%. And it has tremendous memory. If I open this water, or even without opening, if I say something to this water, it remembers. There has been lot of experiments in this direction. So, if you take this water from wherever the waterworks is and pump it to your house, let's say it went through 50 bends, pumped forcefully with a certain force, which naturally is done, and you're living on 12th floor of the apartment, so further forced up. Now they're saying, if it goes through 50 bends, about 60% of the water has turned poisonous. Immediately when it comes in the tap, if you take it and immediately drink it, it will work as poison in your system. If you take it and hold it for some time, it will undo itself again. Because the poisoning is not chemical, it is molecular. Molecular changes are happening, no chemical change is happening. This is why traditionally your grandmother always told you, always you must gather the water, keep it overnight in your house in a properly cleaned vessel with vibhuti and kumkum on it and one flower on it. Yes or no? Traditional homes, only tomorrow morning you drink it. Not as soon as it comes inside your house, you don't drink it because it carries all kinds of memories. In very traditional homes, people every day do puja to the water pot. Yes? And you never drink the water as soon as it comes. You keep it, give it enough time to undo itself from whatever nonsense it has gathered so that it is suitable for you when you drink it. Water you must take care because it's 72%. It's more, it's first class, you know, more than passing mark. Next thing is food, because that's the earth, 12%, still substantial, isn't it? So how food goes into you, from whose hands it comes to you, how you eat it, how you approach it, all these things are important. Then comes your air, 6%. In that 6%, only 1% or less is your breath. Rest is happening in so many other ways. And it's important, especially if you have children, at least once a month, take them out somewhere, not to the damn cinema, again breathing everybody's nonsense. The air gets affected just by the sounds. And the intentions and the emotions, all the rubbish that's happening on the screen and all the rubbish that's reflecting in human minds of violence, of sex, of greed, of this and that, is affecting that limited air in that hall in a tremendous way. So instead of taking them to the cinema, take them to the river, teach them how to swim, climb a mountain. Where is mountain, Sadhguru? Himalayas is so far away. Even a small hill is a mountain for your boy. Yes? Even a little rock, just go climb and sit on one of them. Children will enjoy it immensely, they will become fit, you will become fit. And above all, your body and mind will function differently. And above all, you are in touch with the Creator's creation, which is the most important thing. Not your own rubbish that you made. Yes, it's comfortable right now, but it's not everything. So instead of going to the restaurant, instead of going to the cinema, instead of going somewhere else like that, at least once a month, it doesn't cost anything. Huh? Doesn't cost anything. You can take your rice and avkai and go and eat there. Anyway you have it. You don't have to spend money on this. Even better, if you don't want to spend money even on the bus or car, all of you cycle. Just 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers outside Hyderabad, sit on one rock, just spend time there, feel the sun. It's very important you get some sun, air, good water. Come back, you're doing Bhuta Shuddhi in a very natural way. It is not the ultimate type of Bhuta Shuddhi, but you're doing some Bhuta Shuddhi. This is what I was saying just now. If you take care of food, water, air is not always in your hands because you're living in a city. But water and food you can take care. And what kind of fire burns within you, that also you can take care. Sunlight has not become impure, isn't it? Get some sunlight every day, please. Get some sun on your body every day because sunlight is still pure, isn't it? Nobody can fortunately contaminate it. And what kind of fire burns within you? Is it a fire of greed, fire of hatred, fire of resentment, fire of anger, fire of love, fire of compassion? What kind of fire burns within you? You take care of that. Then you don't worry about your physical and mental well-being. It's taken care of.
Be a multiplier of love and knowledge. Share this video with those you love, and together, let's spread light throughout the world.
In every blow, a hero's fire as blood meets stone, the earth stands still. On the hammer fell from heights, a force of doom and boundless hate. But Fingolfin, swift as a striking hawk, evaded death, defied his fate. His silver mail and crystal shield, they glimmered bright against the dark. Like a lone star's defiant light, a guide through shadows cold and stark. With every swing of Ringo's blade, the giant trembled, strength unmade. By a king who dared to stand alone, who knew the weight of choices made. 7 wounds he dealt that night, 7 cries rang out in pain. As Angband's host looked on in fright, they fell to earth like sudden rain. The ground, a blackened skies, they clash in fire. A dance of steel, a test of wills. In every blow, a hero's pyre. As blood meets stone, the earth stands still. The ground gave way to pits of grief. Beneath Morgoth's iron tread, yet still the elven king arose. The wounds ran black, his courage bled. With one last cry, he swung his blade and healed the dark lord's wicked heel. The blood poured forth a burning shade, unlocked no time.